Europe. What do you need heading into Europe? We're going to go through some of the essential gadgets we've found, some of our hints and tips to get us on our road on our first ever European road trip in the van.
So let's kickstart with what you're going to need if the worst case scenario happened and you broke down. So it is a legal requirement that you need a hazard triangle, and these need to be placed 30 metres behind your vehicle for a normal road, or 100 metres at least on a motorway. So hopefully we won't need this, but it is a legal requirement to keep in the van. And you're also going to need a high-vis vest, and everyone in your vehicle needs one, even including the kids. So it is a legal requirement to have your high-vises where you can reach them, because if you do get outside your vehicle without your high-vis on, if you've broken down, there is a possibility of a fine. So we'll need to keep these in the cabin somewhere where we can get to. So it is worth pointing out that if you're in a caravan or a trailer or a motorhome, they do need to be accessible for when you get out your vehicle.
So another thing you're going to need to do if you're taking your van into Europe is make sure you upgrade your existing number plates to make sure they've got the UK stamp in the corner. So there used to be the EU ones with the GB logo on the corner. They're no longer legal if you're going into Europe. You can also put a UK sign on the back of your van as well.
So this isn't mandatory across all European countries, but it is certainly in places like Belgium, Sweden and Norway, I believe. So we're going to be taking this anyway with us, a fire extinguisher just in case. And also, we always travel with our first aid kit anyway, and I've got everything in there, even paracetamols and Calpol as well for Joshua. So that's always a good bit of kit just to take, like I said before, in case the worst was to happen.
So another legal requirement if you're heading into Europe is having spare bulbs on board. So you can buy these little kits like this just on places like Amazon or eBay, and you've got to make sure the bulbs are going to be applicable for your vehicle in these kits as well, which ours are, and there's also a couple of fuses in here just for them emergency situations. Another thing you're going to need to do as well is you're going to need to put beam reflectors on. Because our headlamps are set up in the UK for us to drive on the right hand side of the road, once we're going into Europe, we're going to start dazzling other people at the other side of the road. So these are quite quick and easy to put on, and that's what we'll do next. So when you open your kit, what you get is you get the two reflectors, and then you get a bit of an instruction manual, and it's just about got every single mic and model in here for your own vehicle. So let's just have a look for this one. Transporter number 2. So on ours, we just need to take off the extension bit there, which is got a cut line going through it already. It should just pull off. There we go. So while doing this, make sure you've got your dip beam on. You'll know that if you haven't got a blue headlamp bulb on your dashboard, you know you've got the right beam on. And then literally, it's just a case of putting the beam reflector in exactly the right point where the diagram's showing you on the instructions included.
So another thing which isn't a legal requirement, but I always think to have them on board, is the alcohol breathalyzer test. Now just bear in mind that the European countries are a lot lower driving limit than here in the UK. And I think it's always better to be safe than getting banged up in jail when you're over the limit. So a good one to keep in the van. So if you're like us and you're travelling with a young family, something else to bear in mind is the regulations on car seats and booster seats. So like the UK, most European countries are the same, and it's 135 centimetres before they don't need a car seat or booster seat. However, some European countries, like France, do have the same regulations of height, but you also have to be over 10 years old to not to have one. So just bear that in mind if you've got a very tall 8-year-old like us.
Another thing I'm going to take along with me, and it's not a legal requirement, but it just makes sense to be honest with you. So we've got a little tool set, socket set there. I've got a range of screwdrivers, some spanners. I've got a couple of pair of pliers, pair of pipe grips, and these are just to get you out any situations rather than getting recovery out, and it's going to be a massive expense. A lot of the things you can normally fix at the side of the road. So we've got a few bits there. Another really important equipment I'll be taking with me is a jump pack, and they are pretty slimline nowadays, so they're easy enough to carry around with you. The only thing I would advise if you're getting a jump pack for your vehicle is make sure you're getting one big enough what would actually start your engine. So I've gone for a 3000 amp, which I know that start a transporter no problem, but there is some out there what are 1000 amp and they're not going to start much, especially in the term of vans. So make sure you get one powerful enough to start your van. And all I do is you get your normal jump cables, they just plug in to the side of your jump pack, and then you're pretty much ready to put it on your battery terminals and off you go. I'm also going to be taking a little tyre inflator, which will get you out of them situations if you do happen to get a flat tyre. But the best thing about these, if you have got any to blow up kayaks or paddle boards, it'll also blow them up too. So good bit of kit for the van. And lastly, I've just got a 2-pin European hookup if we're stopping anywhere where we can plug in for the night. And like I say, these aren't a legal requirement, but for us they're certainly essential when we're travelling on any road trip. And another gadget we've put in the van is a dash cam, just in case the unforeseeable happens while we're in Europe. And they're dead easy to fit if you haven't done one before. Put your wires just along the top of your roof lining. I've put mine down the A-pillar, and then it comes just to your cigarette lighter down here. We've also got a rear view camera as well, but I've left that in the cab just in case it picks us doing anything while we're on our European road trip. These do just tuck behind your rear view mirror so it doesn't intrude on your screen or your visibility as you're going down the road. But if you do happen to find yourself in Portugal or Austria, dash cams are banned there, so make sure you've got them unplugged at that point.
And lastly, what I like to do is keep everything organised in folders. So I've got our booking information and our itinerary in one, and our travel documents and all our car information in the other.
And if you wondered what information and documents you're going to need when travelling in Europe, make sure you take your driving licence with you. You also need your V5 logbook as well, and your certificate of insurance. Do check with insurance though, because a lot of insurances will give you cover in Europe. But let them know, because you will need a cover letter going into some certain countries.
So if we have missed anything, then please drop us a note in the comments, because we are heading off very soon.
And we are proper excited about heading into Europe for the first time in the van. Don't forget to give us a like and come along next week as we head onto the ferry.
So thank you ever so much for watching. And one last thing, live your best life.